Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch the Movie. I'm Mike, and today we're talking about the Paranormal Activity series. At 10:30 p.m. last night, I made the decision, stupid as it may be, you know what? I'm gonna watch all the damn Paranormal Activity movies between today and tomorrow, when I have to go see the new one. I wanted to get a fresh view of what was going on. Nobody likes to be in a movie for a sequel, and they're like, wait, I don't remember who was... I missed the twisty, the what? Who the fuck is that little kid? No one likes to be left out when all of a sudden you're comfortable eating your popcorn and the people around you are like, I don't want to be that guy. So I thought, I want to watch all these movies, and then if I'm going to put myself through watching all those, I didn't get much sleep, if you can tell, per the usual. I got them to share it with you. I pieced them together bit by bit, and I want to give you guys the Cliff Notes version to go into the marked ones with, so that you know exactly what's up without having to piece shit together and get confused, like I am right now. Here's the main events that you need to know before going to see Ghost Dimension tonight. You ready? Oh shit. So the true starts of Paranormal Activity doesn't start in Paranormal Activity 1. It actually starts way before any of the movies when dirty old grandma, crusty as she may be, made a deal with a demon named Toby for wealth and riches and offered up her family's firstborn son in return. Now the events start at Paranormal Activity 3. They start up with Katie and Christy when they're little kids in 1988 in Santa Rosa, California. Toby starts to haunt these girls and he becomes increasingly dickish, and he starts to haunt Katie as well. They find a symbol with a triangle with a circle inside of it written on the wall. Dirty old Grandma Lois even shows up for a minute in Paranormal Activity 3 to complain to the girl's mom, Julie, about Dennis and try to coax her into having another boy. She's like, you always wanted a boy. I don't understand. You always wanted a boy. And because she promised the firstborn son. And the ghost is pissed. And that's why all this shit's happening. So he starts to be like, hey grandma, hey grandma, hey grandma, hey grandma, hey grandma's family. I'm a fucking ghost and I want my shit. Finally, Toby fucks with his family enough that they decide to pack up and go to grandma's house to get away from the entity, the demons, the spirits, the bad shit happening to them. They go to creepy old grandma's house, and when they go to bed, Dennis wakes up, goes downstairs to find all the pictures off the wall and that same symbol that we saw earlier on every single wall. He ends up opening the door to the garage where the scariest old people of all fucking time are standing there in black robes, and they start slowly walking and chasing him, and I pee my pants. The entity kills Dennis, and then Grandma Lois says, come on girls, it's time, takes the girls by their hand, whereas one of the girls says, come on Toby, let's go. They go upstairs. End of Paranormal Activity 3. Now the story actually picks up at Paranormal Activity 2 in Carlsbad, California in August of 2006. Christy's all grown up and she's married to a man named Daniel and Christy have a newborn son named Hunter. Katie comes over to the house to visit because she's moving in with her new boyfriend Micah, who, as we know, is the Micah that she lived with in Paranormal Activity 1, which is happening adjacent to Paranormal Activity 2. And she wants to put these VHS boxes in their basement for space. And they also mention that the tapes were found in their grandma's house. Next step, the house is ransacked. The whole place is torn to shit. The only thing missing, the creepy VHS tapes and the necklace that Christy's sister Katie had given her. Don't forget about Dan and Christy's housekeeper Martina, who knows way too much about spirits and stuff like that, and actually gets fired for walking around with a baby in crazy incidents chanting weird shit. Stuff in Paranormal Activity 2 hits the fan, and Christy starts to actually get possessed by Toby, and they fear for Hunter's life because he wants the firstborn child. As we discussed earlier, Dan calls Martina back. She comes over, she tells him that he has to dip this cross in olive oil, use it on Christy to get her unpossessed, say a couple words, and then pass the demon on to a blood relative. The only way to get rid of the demon, Toby, is to pass him on to a blood relative. The only person they can think of is Katie, who's over in the house living with Micah. He does this by using the cross and burning a picture of Katie that we see in Paranormal Activity 1 that they find in the cross base or whatever. It works, the demon leaves, and it goes over to Paranormal Activity 1, where we see the events happen in Paranormal Activity 1 between Micah and Katie. Here's where shit gets really fucked up. At the end of Paranormal Activity 1, we see Micah and Katie in the bed together after all the shit's gone cray-cray. Katie gets up in the middle of the night to be creepy, as she does. She goes downstairs, the camera's still focused on Micah, all we hear is screams. Micah runs downstairs, and Paranormal Activity 1, the original one, ends with Katie showing up, blood covered, throws Micah at the camera dead, and the movie ends. This is where it might get confusing. In the latest installment, Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, there's a book with this symbol in it, and they say in the marked ones that the symbol is also used for time transport, but only into the unholiest of places. What actually happened when Katie went downstairs was the kid Hector from the marked ones, while chasing down his friend that was possessed, ended up going through this witch-marked hallway and stepping into this otherworldly place and traveling through time and stepping accidentally into the events happening in Paranormal Activity 1. Whereas he's the reason that you hear Katie scream. He stops to ask her for help, not knowing she's a possessed crazy bitch. She screams for Micah. Micah runs downstairs. She stabs Micah to death. Hector runs away and then runs into his possessed friend. Apparently his possessed friend just screams and kills him, so he just goes, ah, and then the guy's dead. And then all of a sudden we see what we can only assume to be Grandma Lois in the house, in Paranormal Activity 1, looking at the camera and turning it off. Now we stop there! Whew! Katie then leaves the house and goes over and steps into the world of Paranormal Activity 2, where Dan and Christy are sitting over there thinking they're safe and it's all over with. Well, Katie goes over there, she jujitsus Dan's head, cracks it in half, she goes upstairs and Undertaker body slams her sister Christy to death, picks up the baby Hunter and disappears. She's kidnapped Hunter, the demons have Hunter, they have won. Now we pick up at Paranormal Activity 4. This is a question I have. Katie, after, as a demon, has kidnapped this child Hunter that she needed, has somehow let it go into adoption with no explanations whatsoever. It's a big twist in the movie. Hunter's living with this new family, and Katie uses this little boy named Robbie into coercing Hunter back to her. So, A, who the fuck is this Robbie kid? And B, how the fuck does a demon let a kid go into adoption? I mean, was she drinking too much? But she goes and she gets Hunter back, long story short. She kills the whole family, and the last scene of Paranormal Activity that we see leading up to tonight's film is a shitload of scary-ass witches, as you could assume they would be witches, walking down the street like it's a fucking parade, and that leaves us here today. So, questions I have, guys. Does Martina have something to do with this? You see the tapes, the original VHS tapes in the marked ones in that crazy Anna lady's house, and Martina, she just knows too much about spirits, so I feel like that comes into play at some point, unless I missed something. Again, how the fuck did Hunter end up adopted, and who the fuck is this Robbie kid? And what are the demon versions of Christy and Katie doing in that basement in the marked ones? I hope these and much more questions, including the time travel stuff, is answered a little bit in Ghost Dimension. We'll have a review for that up tomorrow. So just a quick recap. A long time ago, crusty old dirty grandma made a deal with the demon, Toby, to give up her family's firstborn son in exchange for wealth and power. Their sisters, Christy and Katie, who start to get haunted by this demon. Christy has a boy named Hunter. The demon tries to get to it. Katie becomes possessed and steals the child, somehow loses it in adoption, and then comes back to get it again, and now the witches are all fucking here, and Katie's here, and she's got the child, and no one knows what the fuck's gonna happen. Basically, that's what you need to know going into Paranormal Activity. I hope that this made sense. It was an experience, and it was fun, and it was painful, and my butt hurts a little bit. Comment below, let me know, are you going to go see this new movie? How much do you like the series as a whole closure? How do you feel about Paranormal Activity as a whole? I know it was a cash grab at certain times, but there were good scares in it. My favorite being the third one. What's your favorite? All those questions, answer them all below, and I hope that this helps you guys enjoy the Ghost Dimension a little bit. Let's keep our fingers crossed and hope it's not a big, fat, steamy pile of shit.
We watched a movie.